Hello and welcome to this video, I guess. You may have noticed that I got achievements, and no, this isn't me cheating. It was, I had to change accounts. It's just my brother's account. It literally won't change anything, so just don't worry about it, okay? Today will be a mining session day. We're just gonna go mining in our strip mine, which has yet to be a thing. To do that though, we're gonna need some sticks, any iron in here, which we don't have, which is what described as big sad in technical terms. So what we're gonna do is, yeah, we're just gonna have to go down. Perfect. Well, we need some coal first. I forgot that was a thing. My bad. We're gonna need some coal, just for some torches. Just real quick. Won't take long. In the meantime, I'll get some wood, I guess. I don't know. Because we need sticks for the coal. There is not any sound on this video because I'm just gonna be listening to YouTube in the background while I do this, and I don't want to get copyright striked. So, if you please bear with me, I'm gonna get some wood, gonna get some coal, and if you want to watch this extremely boring video, do it. But I promised, I vowed never to do any off-screen work, because I always hate it whenever YouTubers are like, oh yeah, I just went a little bit off-screen, and then there's like 18 hours of work that they did. It's so annoying to me. So, listen to the first part of this video if you want. I'm literally just doing this just so I can get some stuff. Some sticks is all I need. That'll like set us up for a while. Now, if I could just find some coal real quick, we'll be off. And I don't want to take any from the villagers, because that's stealing. Didn't your mom ever tell you not to steal? Ugh. Oh, what am I doing? Don't worry about it. But don't worry about it, yeah. As far as you're concerned, I'm not doing anything. Good riddance. Alright, sweet. So, let's go. We got food. Let's make that into wheat. Yeah, it's just gonna be a mining session video. The sacred tree. Beautiful. Valiant. I'll probably upgrade this sometime in the... But yeah. This is how it's gonna go. We got some stuff set up. I'm gonna go craft some bread. I know it's full of carbs. All you people doing keto, don't patronize me. I'm messing with you. So, we got all this stuff. We can like deposit some things that we don't need. We need water. Just in case there's any like mishaps with lava or anything, we need water. We got a bunch of sticks for any torches that we may or may not find. Let's put all this stuff here. You got plenty of inventory space. Psst, it's not plenty of inventory space. I'm lying. Alright, we're gonna go to F11. We're gonna have to suck it up having no... That's actually pretty funny, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh, bear with me. We're gonna have to do this with another... Hold on, this is annoying me. I'm gonna have to, sorry, ground. Prepare to be digged. I need to take the first layer off so I'm not friggin' banging my head on everything. That's still... What am I doing? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Get an extra cobblestone is what? Ha-ha. Alright, we haven't even reached Y11 yet, so yeah. It's gonna be a slow mining session, guys. It's gonna be very, very slow. So, first, we just want to try to dig down. I'm sure I'll get plenty of coal later. But, that's how you start out Minecraft. You have to start out with your good old mining cave system. Yeah. Honestly, this is gonna be a boring video. You guys don't have to watch this. It's just so you can see that I am not lying and that I will show everything that happens in this world, big or small. And yeah, because I don't want to be one of those YouTubers that does a little work off screen and then has like beat the Ender Dragon, stuff like that. Hopefully by that time I'll have a actually decent editing software instead of just, you know, nothing. Right now we're gonna make some torches, which we're gonna do so we can at least light this place up a little bit. Anybody? Never mind. I don't want to bring religion into my Christian Minecraft videos. Boom. Get this freaking out of the way. Get out. Get out. Get. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll replace this someday, but for now, I just need the coal. Coal's very useful, and we don't have much of it, so suck it up, nerd. Might as well place this here. Go down, place this here, go down, place this there. I'll get that later. Right now, maybe I should switch to my stuff. Wow. I was literally like, until we find iron, I'll switch to this, I guess. And then we immediately find iron. Wow. Thanks, Minecraft. Thank you. No, seriously, thank you. We're running out of iron. I look like super snazzy in my iron armor, but like, other than that, I also want to try to make this a no cheats world. If I have full diamond armor with all my great enchantments, mending every diamond pickaxe, whatever, and then I fall in lava and die miserably. Yeah, it's my fault. Nothing I can do. Because in my other worlds, I'd just be like, oh, who'd know? You know, I'm sure all of you have done it. Hey, who would know that I cheated in my armor because I was a BS situation that I couldn't get out of? I lost my only one elytra. Like that. If that happens, that's my fault. I gotta deal with that. I gotta deal with the consequences. Life has consequences. And quote, I guess I'll do gaming whatever year this is. I don't know, I've been inside a lot. I haven't seen the sun in a while. Haven't seen the sun in a hot minute. Oh shoot, it's night. I didn't even freaking realize that. Oh, you suck. Oh, you know what? Yeah, come at me, nerd. Oh my freaking gosh. 9. Okay, we're gonna bring the fight over here. Somewhere less, destructible. Frick! I forgot I can't one-shot them. I'm so used to being able to do that. My bad. Okay, we get it. Oh gosh. Nerd. I'm gonna freaking die. Oh, it's a spider junkie! Oh my freaking gosh. 9. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. Not cool, dude. Not cool. I'm scared. Can I? Thank you. Sorry, spider jockey, but can't be. It's like that one guy who had the bullet catch up with him like 18 years later or whatever. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that story. Might need a little bit more dirt. And trust me, I ain't no hermit craft person. Like, I can't do anything grandiose or amazing. So like, don't come to this channel expecting great, amazing builds. Just like, come to this channel, trying to have a good time. You know, that's all I want. Good time. I am not the Jesus of Minecraft. So yeah, bear with me with any mistakes that I make. I make a lot of them. And now, I want to like build in this. I want to build as a person in this series. Not literally build, but build as a person. You know, I want to be a better person. Be better. Let's actually light this place up. And as much as I hate torch spam, I need to light this place up. There's no light, and it's causing me so much trouble. I can't tell how well this is right now because it's the middle of the day, but we'll not worry about it. Hello, sir friend, I need some string. I'm sure you won't mind sacrificing your second-born son. Let's do it on the top, so no mobs can, tear buttholes in. Let's, place them around, so no outside mobs will be getting us. Hey Tanner, don't you need this stuff for like, you know, mining and stuff? Shut up. No, I don't. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my mom. Oh, why'd you mine that random piece of grass out of nowhere? Just kidding. I'm doing it for a purpose. Boom, bam, pop. Oof. Alright, torch spam completed. Achievement unlocked. Torch spam. Let's put away our stuff that we got from the amazing expedition. This looks horrible, by the way. I really hope I can do something better. Be better. Because if I do this, it's gonna look all dark. I can do that. Yeah, that actually doesn't change anything. Hold on. Okay. Okay. Well. Haha. Mother trip. Let's cook this up all evenly. Nice like. Stick. I'm gonna pause those tweets. Wait, what am I doing? I think I can wait, maybe. I don't know. Ah, what am I doing? Why did I do that? I have a blast furnace for that one purpose. Oh, dude, this is the kind of stuff that you can expect. I know this is torturous, but bear with me. I'm just trying to mine this out. I only came back up to the surface because I wanted to put the iron in, but then I had to take care of that situation. You know, we're improving a little bit every single day, guys. We're improving a little bit every single day. And today, I want to improve by making a mining system. We'll be able to get diamonds, lots of iron, which will get us even more diamonds, and it's our first step into getting actual things happening with actual things. Yeah. Jazz hands. I know my base looks literally like just a square. I swear I'll improve it later. I'm not good at building, as you can tell. Yeah, but I want to get better, so there's that. Okay, that's what I thought. It's 30. I just needed to make sure. I can't wait to just have a beautiful villager farm and golden carrots up the wazoo. I wish I could time-lapse this, but sadly, I still don't have that editing software. I'm cheap. I can't pay like $30 a month for good editing software, so you're gonna have to, yeah, you have to bear with me. I think I already said that, but I'm saying it again, baby. Hopefully I'll be able to get all the achievements, because while I am on a different account. That's alright. That's alright with me. Oh my gosh, break! So, for iron, I made armor first because I was so squishy with like nothing. Both diamonds, whenever I find diamonds, whatever that might be, whether in a million years or, tomorrow, I'm gonna make tools first, which I think is the superior decision, but I'm not here to judge. Nobody's here to judge. Alright, made it all the way down. Let's light it up, boys. Ow, 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 ow. Okay. Boom. Slapping my face on each step all the way down. Just pull in there. Boom. Oh, wait, bam. Yeah, yeah. Signifying the end of the trail, boys. Alright. First, we're gonna move out. This way, this direction. Skip it bob. I would have a poll to decide what kind of stairs, or like what kind of aesthetic we'll have our whole home as. It doesn't have to just be oak, and that smooth stone. So any suggestions, please tell me. I'll try to go after that. Yeah. Bruh. Okay. Once the stone shovel. Everybody, this is Mr. Shovel. Once the stone pickaxe is done for, I'll Akbar. I'll go back up and make an iron one. And then we'll have fun times. We're just gonna go as long as our little legs can take us. And we'll go farther, and farther, and farther, and farther. And we're strip mining, boys. That's it. We did it. I like doing this because you can find a lot more materials, and I feel like it's more effective. People might not agree sometimes. They think that it's overzealous. You're spending too much resources just mining. But I like it. I think it's easy. I don't feel so cramped. I feel very movable. Yeah. Now, this is the point where I'm gonna pretty much stop talking, and I'm just gonna listen to YouTube videos. So, I don't have a second monitor, and I don't know how this is gonna work, because I can't blur the screen, but whatever. It'll be fine, guys. It'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, so I guess this is it. Once this stone pickaxe breaks, I'll put on my video. You guys can leave if you want, because the rest of the episode is literally just going to be going back up and forth, mining. Look at this coal vein. If there's any suggestions on new videos that you want me to do, any challenges or any tips that you have for me in the comments, please leave them. I really want suggestions. I really want input from you guys. And yeah. Don't need to subscribe. Just like watch the videos. If you like them, you can do whatever. Lava over there. That's good. I can't mine that, so I'm gonna thing. Pretty good redstone vein, huh? It's so sad that we don't have any shulker boxes. Because if we did, this entire process would be so much easier. Anything else? No? Okay. I always get so much excess cobblestone, so this is really like okay for me to do because I just still have that much more. Have a great day, guys.
Grammarly helps make your writing clear and concise, no matter where you are. Compose a cover letter that stands out, thanks to Fluent. Welcome to rSlash Ask Writer, where we answer the questions.
Shout out to rSlash. He's really good. Ambient noise. So yeah, shout out to him. Not sponsored.
I understood the technical side well, but the interviewer kept sneering, being rude, and saying, "Really?" in a skeptical tone, and I got the distinct impression that he hated me. About 20 minutes in, I thought about politely calling it a day and leaving, but in my innocence, I thought that would be good practice to say. 40 minutes in, it's like a light switch goes off inside this guy, and he becomes the nicest guy. His eyes light up, and he started hard selling the role of the position to me. He introduces me to the team. The director interviews me, and he and the team are lovely. Apparently, their interview technique is to be rude to see how you perform under pressure, and they'd all been observing using a camera and were impressed that I remained so polite and calm throughout. They couldn't understand why I declined. So, what they thought they were testing was to see how well you hold up under pressure. But what they were really testing was to see if you would tolerate a toxic work environment. For an extra flash, I forgot my first name. I was at an interview to be a county street sweeper, and the guy asked me if I have a girlfriend, and proceeds to rant for 5 minutes about how young people don't get married anymore. Then he asked me what I wanted to avoid at the job. At the time, I had no idea how to answer because I'd never been asked that in an interview before. So I asked him to clarify, and he just repeats the question over and over until he gets super angry that I don't know how to answer that. Then he asked me to leave. To this day, that was the biggest WTF interview that I've ever had. Beneath that, Sloth of Doom says what I was thinking. What would I like to avoid? How about stupid questions? For an extra flash on Pomegranate Planet, the interviewer put candy bars on the table to open the interview. Have a candy bar. Do you want Hershey's or Snickers? Neither, thanks. Go ahead, pick one. I don't want any candy now, thanks. Take one. Hershey's or Snickers? Okay, I'll take the Snickers. No, I want the Snickers. You take the Hershey's. No, thank you. Our next reply is from El Tomarino. I was interviewing for a job in Houston and lived in Austin, about 2.5 hours away. I drove to Houston for the first round of interviews, and they said it went well and wanted to bring me in for the final interview, so I drove there again. It seemed like it went well, and they told me they had one more interview to conduct and would have a decision tomorrow. So the next day came and went, and I emailed the manager to ask if a decision had been made, and I got nothing. I waited a couple more days, left a voicemail, nothing. Then a couple of days later, I just called the main number for the company and told the receptionist why I was calling. She was like, "Well, someone just started in that job yesterday." They ghosted me after I drove a total of 10 hours to interview twice. I'm still salty about that 11 years later. So, this reminds me of the worst job interview that I ever had. This happened during my first couple of years in college, and I didn't have a whole lot of experience with this type of thing, so I kinda got played, and part of that is on me. So, anyways, I was looking for jobs online, and after contacting a couple of people about their positions, it became clear to me that some people had sales jobs, but they were intentionally writing their ads to make it look like it wasn't sales jobs. And back then, I just wasn't interested in being a salesman. I didn't want to have like a commission-based salary. I just wanted a steady salary so I could pay my rent at the time. Anyway, after wasting tons of time with all these job interviews that turned out to just be door-to-door salesman interviews, I finally got a call back from this one company. A couple of things in their job posting were kind of sending up red flags, but I was still kind of new to identifying the real red flags, so I basically asked the person, "Hey, so the job description is a little bit vague, and I wanted to ask if this is a salesman position because I just don't want a salesman job. If it's not a salesman job, then cool, I'm happy to come in and interview, but if it is a salesman job where you go from place to place trying to sell stuff, I'm just not interested." The person on the phone absolutely assured me that it was not a sales position. So I show up at the address they gave me and they asked me a couple of questions. And to start off, it was all pretty normal.
Oh my gosh.
The interviewer said that he wanted to drive me and everyone else interviewing for the job job to another location. Looking back, I was an absolute idiot to get in that guy's car. Let this stranger drive me to a secondary location? What am I, an idiot? Yes, the answer was yes. I was really young and dumb and desperate for cash. However, 3 or 4 other guys that were also there for the interview didn't seem to be bothered by it, so I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. Anyway, the interviewer puts us in a car and drives us to this store like 30 minutes away. Then he's like, okay, so basically watch me because this is what you're going to be doing. He goes up to the counter, asks to speak to the owner, and then spends about 30 minutes trying to sell the guy some sort of product. That's when I realized this is a freaking door-to-door salesman position, even though the person on the phone told me that it wasn't. So I was like, okay, I'm here, it's fine, I'll just sit through it and then I can go home. However, after that, the guy put all of us back in his car and took us to another store and did it again. Now, keep in mind that this guy drove us, so I'm in a place that I've never been before. I have no idea even the town name where I am at this point. This is before the time of Uber, so I can't just pull out my phone and get a ride back to my car. This guy basically has me and the other interviewees hostage. He drives us from store to store to store. This thing takes 6 hours. This absolute douchebag basically kept me and 4 other guys hostage for 6 hours while he drove us around and did his job for a day. I will say in his defense that he bought us all McDonald's, so I guess it wasn't a total loss, but still, it wasted my entire day. Finally, he drove us back, and I jumped in my car and fled the scene. The next day, he called me back and said he wants to bring me in for round 2 of interviews. I said, no thanks. I'm only about 5 stories into this thread so far, but so far I think that my story is the worst story of them all. Also, to everyone else out there, especially younger people, don't let your interviewer drive you to a secondary location. It's stupid, dangerous, dumb, stupid, and oh, did I say stupid? Because it's really stupid. If that had been some kind of scam, then I would have fallen for it hard. So if you're ever in that situation, please don't fall for it yourself. Our next reply is from Hardware. I had an interview that went well. I was offered the job on the spot and I accepted. The HR manager went to me the needed paperwork, came back 10 minutes later and said, I must have forgot that we already filled this position. I'm sorry we don't have an opening. I can call you if something opens back up. I said no thank you. But then beneath that, Propaganda Pagoda adds the story. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna mention that awesome sick jump that I did.
On the long lunch to interview because they flat out refused to interview me at a time that I wasn't at work. That sounds somewhat reasonable, but I had occasional weekdays off. There was also a convoluted process for validating my parking, which I did. I showed up a bit early, waited about 40 minutes for someone I was told definitely was in, and apparently she was just eating lunch or something, because on my way back to work I got a call from her asking where I was. She tried to reschedule. It was stressful enough the first time. I'm not going to jump through hoops if you don't value me as a prospect enough to keep your own freaking appointment. Our next reply is from Decent Aspects. It was a video chat interview. Red flag number 1 was the interview was with 10 interviewers. I was told it would be a one-on-one. Red flag number 2. Towards the end, they asked if I had any questions. When I asked, do you all enjoy working here? They all looked at each other nervously for about 20 seconds until someone said, sure, I mean, as much as you can enjoy work, I guess. Nope. Our next reply is from Lobster Nixon. I told him I told him I couldn't answer Alright, I can do this. I told them I couldn't answer their question. Okay, I'm a professional. Come on, rSlash. I told them I couldn't answer their question. I told them I told them I couldn't answer their questions. Farted audibly out of stress and thanked them for their time. So I'm guessing this would sound like, sorry, I can't answer your questions. Thank you for your time. Our next reply is from PM Scott. My personal favorite bad interview. I had been unemployed for a bit and was desperate for a new gig. I had gained a lot of weight living off of fast food, so my pants didn't fit me very well. I sat down in the interview chair as the person was walking around to their side of the desk, and the button of my pants popped off, did a one-hopper off the desk, and right into their coffee cup. It swished, nothing but nets. For the entire interview, they were sipping their coffee, and I was sitting there with my pants unbuttoned waiting for the big reveal. I left before they got to the bottom of their coffee, but they had to have put two and two together. This narrowly beats out the time that I was offered water from a graph at an interview, dropped it, and soaked both interviewers. At least that one wasn't as psychologically tense. And to clarify, no, I did not get the job. Our next reply should be your marvelous. I went in to apply for an administrative assistant position, and the guy kept asking me questions about liking kids and are my passports up to date. I was so confused. Turns out, what he really wanted was a native for his two young kids to travel with him and his wife back to India. I was so pissed that he wasted my time. I noped right the F out of there. This is so weird. Who's gonna go to a job interview and then be like, surprise, the job is in India. And you're like, oh, cool, I guess I'll just go to India. Our next reply is from Biowordcon. Yeah, I have one that sticks out. I applied to a government branch as a network admin. The newspaper had asked for a bachelor's degree. When I got there, the first thing the interviewer said was, we wanted someone with a master's degree. Why did you apply? Now, I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe they had other interviews that day and got them mixed up. Things happen. I just informed the interviewer that the ad I applied for requested a bachelor's degree and confirmed the position I was applying for. No, we definitely wanted someone with a master's degree. So, again, why did you apply? I asked, if you wanted someone with a master's degree, why'd you bother calling me in for an interview? You're very rude and unprofessional. Yeah, you're the one who screwed up at every junction thus far, but I'm the one who's rude and unprofessional? Our next reply is from Rhino Salon. It started as the worst, but ended as the best. The beginning started like this. I'm so sorry to inform you of this, but we pulled the wrong resume contact information. We didn't mean to call you for an interviewer. Before leaving, the interviewer gave me a brief tour of the company grounds because they felt so bad for wasting my time. They introduced me to the department head that I would have been working for, if that department was actually hiring. I had a great conversation, and the department head was convinced that I would be an asset to them and hired me on the spot. I just wanted to add that I've been with this company for over 8 years now, and they're an awesome bunch of people. It was a very lucky/unlucky day for me. Beneath that, we have the silver.
Oh my gosh. No way. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is. Oh. 6 diamonds. I was expecting that like 8 hours later.
It was me versus a panel of 5 senior human rights lawyers who just ripped me apart from start to finish. Everything I said, they made sound like the dumbest response with their rebuttals. By the end, I was a nervous, babbling wreck. I did not get the internship, but I did appreciate the experience in retrospect. When they got back
Oh, this is amazing.
Your resume was fantastic, so we were quite disappointed with how poor your interview was. Burn. Beneath that, Phantom Tissue says what I was thinking. That seems kind of cheap. Give you questions that you probably never thought about and ask you to debate with 5 people who've probably researched the question inside and out. That's literally setting you up for failure. Our next reply is from Freshly Delivered Egg. I had 5 interview rounds, with the last interview round being with the CEO, all for an entry-level customer service job. During the last interview, the CEO said that you weren't allowed to get sick and you weren't allowed to leave at the end of the day until all the work had been done. So, even though the job said 8 to 4, the CEO said customer service reps often stayed until 6 p.m. or later. She also asked if I would be comfortable secretly reporting to her about what the customer service team was up to. I declined the job offer, and the company harassed me with emails asking why and what they did wrong. I was really glad I didn't take that job. This reminds me of another terrible job interview experience I had. So before I was a YouTuber, I had a normal 9 to 5 job, but I got fired from that job. At the time, I was working on becoming a full-time YouTuber, but I hadn't quite hit that level where I could comfortably go for it full-time. So I figured that I would look for another job, and then meanwhile I would keep grinding out YouTube. So I come in to interview for a creative writing job for this company. They asked me if I was doing anything creative, and I said, yeah, actually, I've got a YouTube channel with over 100,000 subscribers. They were absolutely blown away by that, and were thrilled to see this creative person who has a background in writing, because that's what I got my degree in. So a week passes, and they call me in for a second interview. This time, a completely different set of people interviewed me, and they're like, hey, so they tell me that you have a YouTube channel. Tell me about that. So I told them about it, and once again, they were absolutely thrilled. They were really interested. They asked me lots of questions, and the interview went really amazingly well. I go home, a week passes. They call me in for a third interview. This time I'm being interviewed by the manager, and the manager's like, so, they tell me you have a YouTube channel. I say, yeah, I've got a YouTube channel, and I explain it a third time to this third person. Once again, they were thrilled, they were excited, they saw this as a sign of me being really creative, so they thought that I would be a great fit for the company. I go home. A week later, they call me back for a fourth interview, this time with the CEO of the company. Now, keep in mind that it's almost been a month. Oh, actually, I forgot. Before they even called me in, I had a phone interview. And then after the phone interview, there was another week delay. So it was like a full 4-week delay between my first interview and my fourth in-person interview. And during this time, I had kept grinding out YouTube videos, and my channel was getting bigger and bigger, and it was kind of getting to the point where I was like, screw this, I don't need this job. But in the interest of closure, I went, and the CEO interviewed me. The CEO asked me if I was doing anything creative, and I said, yes, I've got a YouTube channel. He was asking me questions about it, and I was like, yeah, so I just really like making things. As near as I can tell, this pissed the CEO off. He started basically like lecturing me, saying that if he hired me for this position, he wouldn't want me to just make whatever I wanted. That the whole point of this job is that he or my manager would tell me what to do, and I would write it. So I would have to write what they want me to write, not what I want to write. And I was like, yeah, of course, I know that. And the guy cut the interview short and decided that I wasn't a good fit for the company. Like, dude, you called me in 4 times for an interview. The people I'd be working next to wanted to work with me. My manager's manager wanted to work with me. But because I didn't come into your office as some kind of like boot-looking yes man, you're deciding that I'm not the right fit for the company. At the time, I was super pissed off at them. But actually, they turned out to make the right call, because if they had hired me, I would have quit like 2 months so I could be a full-time YouTuber. Our next reply is from Freddie Gregg. I interviewed for what was my dream job, something that I have a ton of experience in 2 degrees, including one from literally the most prestigious school in my field. They liked me so much in my first few rounds of interviews that they asked me to fly across the country for the final one. So I go through easily the worst travel day of my life, arrive for my interview, and the interviewer takes one look at my resume and says, I don't know why you came all the way out here. You aren't qualified for this. Suffice to say, I will never work there. OP, I feel like that kind of behavior is something that we should literally be allowed to sue over. Our next reply is from Redbeard. I went into a family
Wow, that's surprising.
shop that had
Here.
several openings in the carpentry department. Red flag number 1. When I arrived, I spoke to the person in front of the house stating that I was there for an interview. The conversation went as follows. Note, the owner's office was directly behind the front desk. He was watching us through a two-way mirror. Hi, I'm here to interview for the carpenter position. I saw your post online. The owner storms out of his office, points his finger at me with his face full of anger. This was red flag number 2. Are you experienced? Yeah, but I have 7 years of experience with carpentry, but I'm new to furniture. Are you experienced? Red flag number 3. Yeah. Fine, I'll get the lead carpenter and he'll talk to you. At this point, I should have noped the F out of there, but I've been unemployed for some time and my savings were running on fumes. So I assumed that he might have just been in a bad mood that day, and I waited for the lead carpenter. The lead carpenter comes out and we have an interview on the sales floor. The interview goes normal until he asks me about my experience. So, tell me how you have experience with woodwork, but not with furniture. I build musical instruments. I'm familiar with all power tools and measurements required. The carpenter looks at me like I have 2 hits on explaining this, but the rest of the interview proceeds as normal. He
Sweet.
said that he started me off at $10 an hour as a probational.
Dude, I'm getting really lucky.
Then the part of the interview comes when he asked if I had any questions. I asked, so, is the owner having a bad day? The carpenter said, no, that's just how he is. Red flag number 4. We have an awkward silence staring at each other for about 10 seconds. Then, without saying anything, I just walk out. I found out a few weeks later from a friend who's a woodworker that place is known amongst furniture woodworkers as the place you want to avoid. And he mentioned that a few days before I interviewed, the entire carpentry staff of about 8 people, minus the lead carpenter, walked out. I now live about a mile from that store and pass it on my daily commute. Every 5 to 6 months, they put up a now hiring all positions sign up front. I can't imagine how many people have cycled through there at this point. That was r/ask Reddit. If you like this content, check out my Patreon where I publish extra episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day. Welcome to r/insane parents. We have some of the craziest parents on earth. Not true. We raised our children to work hard, respect God, and enjoy life. Our youngest turned out to be a lazy snob who thinks the world owes her. I blame school, society, and friends in this case. Yeah, that's right. Blame literally everyone except yourself, despite the fact that you were the one who raised her. And on this next post, OP is a female. She posted pictures from her hike on Facebook. Then her dad replies, "So this is how a working girl lives. I went a few weeks ago on the weekend. I just posted a pic today. I'm assuming you're not calling me a prostitute. Let's just say a paid professional adult worker. Smiley face. Is this what happens when an r/nice guy grows up and has a kid? I had asthma when I was a child, so stop effing patronizing me and telling me how to raise my daughter just because you think you're smarter than me." Entitled Parent Leaves Hospital. Back in hospital 2 hours later, 6-year-old daughter is in respiratory failure and admitted to intensive care. Clearly, this entitled parent didn't have enough essential oil diffusers surrounding the child at all times. Also, lady, when a doctor goes to school and gets a medical degree, that is literally a certificate that proves that yes, he is smarter than you. Well, I'm in the butthole if I don't send my daughter to therapy. Our daughter is 14 years old and has changed significantly over the past few years. To give some backstory, when she was in elementary, she was the kind child anyone could have known. She also thought to put people before her and overall had a calm temper. Then she started puberty at around middle school. When she started puberty, she turned into an angry, aggressive person. She always complained and get extremely angry. She even had issues with harming herself by pulling her hair and scratching her arm. She also handled grudges from the past, and I do believe it would be caused by her abusive teachers in preschool and a bully she had never told me about until 4th grade. Thus, we could not have taken action. We did think she had a problem in the beginning, so we treated her with lots of love. During middle school, she had earned an invitation to join a counseling group for girls, and despite us pushing her to go, she decided not to go. Over time, our daughter grew more and more calm, stopped harming herself, and has become more like herself back when she was young. So I thought it could have been
Yo.
during her puberty years. But this year, she asked me to send her to therapy. Now, I have thought about it, and I believe she wouldn't require therapy. It was probably the flaring hormones while she was together, and she has become much more adjusted to becoming a normal girl. Therapy is extremely expensive around here as well, and we have never mistreated or abused her. And while she has never been mistreated or abused by us, my husband was physically abused by his older brother, so I don't see why she needs therapy when her father has never received therapy, and yet has turned out completely fine. So therapy would not only be a waste of money, but our daughter has just turned out fine, and so would be deemed a waste of time. So would I be a butthole if I don't send my daughter to therapy? Translation: I want strangers on the internet to justify my belief that my bank account is more important than my daughter. I'm looking for a babysitter in the area. DM me if you're interested. Here are my requirements. 1. Have a bad history in child care, or 9 years of relevant babysitting experience. 2. 3 good references with phone numbers. 3. Full-time availability, including weekends. 4. Your own car and driving license. 5. Native English speaking and preferred second language to teach my children. 6. CPR certified, ideally a CNA license. 7. No history of traffic tickets and no problems with
That's how you take care of creepers.
Databases. 8. No tattoos, no drugs, no alcohol, no sketchy social media behavior and or public pictures. 9. Must be okay with my 2 pit bulls. 10. Must be okay with emergency last minute calls. 11. Perfect attendance, 100% required. 12. Willing to pay for some snacks. 13. Will love to work with a 3-year-old and 5-year-old. 14. Ideally will be a Trump. In exchange, I will be offering $10 an hour under the table cash. It's like making $15 an hour more, but without paying tax. Serious inquiries only. You know what else is like making $15 an hour? Actually making $15 an hour. Am I the butthole who telling the cashier that wasn't the girl's credit card? Verdict. Throwaway because husband told me I was the butthole and wanted to know before I got home to argue. On phone. Format is bad. I was in a higher end department store today. Rhymes with living things. And happened to end up next to 2 teenage girls while shopping. One of the girls had picked out a pair of very expensive boots, and they were both fawning over them. The second girl must have looked at the price tag and asked the boots girl if she's really going to spend that much on boots. Girl with boots says something along the lines of, "It's fine, I have my dad's credit card, I'm not kidding." Which instantly caught my attention because that's not her card. I've told my son multiple times he's never allowed to use my card. So I'm interested to see how this girl thinks she's going to get away with fraud. But had split up from the girls at this point because they had found something else. We end up at the same register, me behind, and I see her total hit well over 4 digits. The girl is about to swipe her card when I decide I can't let her get away with something like this. And someone has to parent this kid if no one else will. I tell cashier that isn't her card, but her father's. And I'm not sure she has permission. Girl and friend turn and glare at me, giving me possibly the dirtiest look I've ever seen. I swear, this girl was going to throw a tantrum right there. I don't think she was ever told no. Girl tells cashier her father gave her the card to shop with because it's the store's credit card and it gives her points. Now that I've pointed out it wasn't hers, cashier tells her she can't use that card. Girl tries to show ID to prove they have the same last name. Yeah, that will help. And I tell her it's still fraud. Girl says it's not fraud because she has permission and tells me to mind my own business. I tell her that it is my business that she's doing something illegal. She needs to pay with her own card or I call the cops. Girl is pissed now and people are glaring at her. She uses her own card and leaves crying. Cashier looks mad at me, and I tell my husband when I get home, only for him to agree I was in the wrong. So then, am I the butthole? So you pissed off the cashier, pissed off everyone else in the store, pissed off 2 teenagers, stuck your nose in someone else's business over something that virtually half of all parents in America do anyways, arbitrarily applied your family rules to someone else, and threatened to call the cops. Yep, you are the buttholiest butthole who has ever butthole. 5 out of 5 buttholes. And besides, with an entitled parent like this, something tells me that OP was buying whatever it is that she was trying to buy with her husband's money. I had a friend looking for an essential oil that will help children sleep. Something similar to chloroform, but all natural and less illegal. DM me if you know of something. Bedtime at a normal person's house is like, I would not eat them in a house. I would not eat them with a mouse. Bedtime at this lady's house is like, shh, quiet, stop struggling. It'll all be over soon. Yes, sleep, sleep. Is autism a recent cause of vaccines? Yes, it is. The aborted fetus cells in the vaccine causes a DNA mutation which causes autism. OMG, my 5-year-old son has just been diagnosed with autism, but I have never vaccinated him. Your doctor must have vaccinated him without your consent. I'm sorry you had to be a victim of vaccine injuries. Vaccines don't cause autism, but Facebook posts like this one. I need some suggestions. My 16-year-old son is a pain in every nerve I have. Super moody, angry, lazy, sneaky, defiant, knows everything, etc. I know, typical teenager, but I was a teenage girl once and never remember being this bad with my mom. He refuses to use the oils I give him, the soaps I provide, even the supplements I suggest he use. He tells me he prefers the chemically laden store-bought stuff and wants none of these oil things. I sneak oils into his food, spray his room and pillow when not looking, put them on his clean laundry, even rub oils on myself before I touch him to get oils on. I need help with what oils I should use. Apparently, I'm not using the right ones. Do the same oils that help with female hormones help with teenage boys? What would you suggest? Thanks. Mom rubs oils into son to help with teenage hormones. I think I watched this video. If God asked me to kill my child, I would. Because I trust him. Yo, if God is real, I can just imagine him reading it to me like this. I don't know this woman. And in his next post, hope you have their childhood home. And this is a text message. I have talked to God. You are in the unpleasant place of being in it. I knew that position only too well. About 2 weeks ago, I spent most of the night in prayer about it. I begged for an answer. The next morning, I heard clear as a bell read to John. It's very short, but it shook me to my very knees. I texted Pastor to see him. It took about a week, and then I got to talk to him. I bore my heart of my hair, and then I told him I was directed to Second John, the one right before Revelation. We read it together. He said, yes, that was the Holy Spirit's direction for me. Months ago, I laid you down into the hands of God and taken my hands off you. I told him to do whatever necessary, even death, if it would save me. I just wanted to be assured of heaven with that person's name written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Pastor said he's been praying for you, and God has also let him know some truths concerning you. I trust in God. I've seen His hand in many miracles in my life. Others, the thing I keep asking God is, He won't go past Himself will. He lets me know. He knew you from before time. He knows you're coming and you're going. He knows what you're going to say before you even say it. He knows if you do bad or good. So be good for goodness sake. How do you even have a conversation with a person like this? Sweetie, I've been praying for your salvation. Oh, thanks, Mom. That's nice. I've been praying that you'll die because I'm sure that would save you. What? Text message from Mom. Thanks, you a selfish little girl. Ain't nothing good going to happen for you, and you gonna need me one day. You gotta see. Peace. How am I selfish when you decided to open a power bill in my name and not yours? You decided to go buy AirPods and Xbox Ones instead of paying rental bills. You decided you'd rather spend money on those things and buy years and provide for your kids with a place to live and not screwing things up anymore. I love you, and yes, I may need you, but you have not been reliable. And you have kids need you. I hope that you're able to get your stuff to me and be the better mother that the three of us need, but I'm not going to keep going out of my way to help someone that has put me in such a deep hole that I'm now going in the same direction as you. This is not where I want my life to go, and it shouldn't be where you want it to go either. Kids these days, they're not even willing to show respect to their parents, even when those parents steal their identity and take out bills in their name. What is the younger generation coming to? Just lost custody of my kids. Summer is about to be epic lit. Status update 9 months later. I can't wait to lose custody of this kid so I can get shaved for next summer. So, I'm pretty sure we had your cat. However, we've had your cat since Sunday night, and I put a post on Facebook about your cat immediately when she came to our house. And Dad got no response, and you're barely posting something about the kitten that you care so much about 3 days later. My 10-year-old little girl that has anxiety has been taking care of her and has spent her entire savings purchasing items that the cat would need. The cat has quickly become a service animal for her. Give these people their cat back. Just because they didn't take to the internet doesn't mean that they weren't searching other ways. Checking an animal control or asking people. Go be a good mom and get your child her own cat. Don't be a thief. After 3 days, the cat became a service animal. Why do I feel like the next step is this entitled mother trying to take the cat into restaurants and airplanes and then flipping out at people who try to get rid of it, saying that it's a service animal? And how dare they? Our next Reddit post is from Jasmine. After spending 7 weeks doing my online degree, I'm now officially a qualified homeschool teacher. As most of you know, I had to pull Caden out of regular public school due to them flat out refusing to accept that my son was not vaccinated and continuing to shove their concerns in my face and constant letters and meetings over my parenting. Well, no thanks. He's my child, not yours. I know exactly what is best for him and how his body and mind works. And now I'm going to do a better job teaching him than your joke of an education system could ever do. Fellow moms, don't be afraid to stand up for yourself and the well-being of your children. Is that honestly how much training someone's supposed to go through to get a certificate to become a homeschool teacher? How is 7 weeks of training supposed to cover the education from kindergarten to high school? It's what, 15 years of education? Does anyone know why my 13-year-old son gets hard when I spank him? Also, what should I do? Well, step one is stop spanking. Unless we're also considering the desires of the kid, in which case, definitely keep spanking. Text message from mom. I would never smoke around the babies anyway. They're still in my stomach. I smoke with all 5 of you. You are all healthy. If they come out deformed or something else, it's a trait or a gene. Nothing you can do about it. Stuff happens. Your kids are more likely to get autism, and that's from their mandatory shots. Smoking and doing drugs while you're pregnant is totally fine. But protecting your kids against diseases that will absolutely kill them, yeah, that's the real key. And on this next one, this is an argument between a mom and her kid. That was very silly and disrespectful. I'm not going to act like a brat. I need the reasons with you about Rosamund. Suck a dick. You and these bitches should hurt. You're the same. Have a great time, Ohio. Sorry, I don't speak Greek. Hey, foster free. I wasn't foster care because of you, idiots. Oh, it's because David Evans is a dick. Insane parents. I'm not gonna act like a brat. Also, insane. Suck a dick, foster free. I stress every night that my 8-year-old daughter can't read yet. She still takes a long time to read I do both homeschool and unschooling, if that makes sense. Lol. My worries get to me every night. Someone please help. I'm willing to do whatever it takes except for take them to an actual school. Our pediatrician profiled me as a bad mother. I was pressured by our doctor from my son's birth all the way through grade school. I kept telling him no vaccines whatsoever. Zero, none. I was hassled, shamed, talked down to, and more. Not a fun experience whatsoever. I was profiled as a bad mother. I don't understand. Why won't these doctors just let my baby die in peace? That was rSlash insane parents. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button because it really helps me out. Welcome to rSlash Nuclear Revenge, where a homeowner literally murders someone to get his revenge. I'm an athletic gay guy, and always have been. I was also born and raised in Texas, so you can imagine some of the goings on in my younger years, when being homosexual was less accepted. This was a little over 2 years ago. Freshman year, I'm on the basketball team. I'm not good, not great, just average. The team also takes up a class period, and some days we have to study instead of practice. One of the kids on my team, and would constantly give me flack for being gay, calling me the F word, a queer, and all of the usual slurs. I, always being a pretty amiable guy and extremely so to action, accepted his insults with open arms. Although I wasn't the star player of a community, I made sure my nickname was the F word. I'd answer yes to every "does butt taste good?" or "do you have a body count?" I never let it show, but this constant disrespect towards me and other people, including teachers, really got to me. He would harass my friends, pick on the boys, catcall, and make lewd comments to the girls. He was the kind of kid who'd do a fake "yes sir" to a teacher who was getting on to him about something. That's when a little birdie told me his dad died 3 years ago, and his mom was an alcoholic. Despite the fact that I now had this knowledge, I held on to it until I had my chance. Im liked to shove people around, but he never did me because I was pretty popular and matched him physically. Like I said, that didn't stop him from picking on people close to me. I started preparing for the fight I knew would come. Looking bags, burning pudding, all the good stuff. After 3 months of preparation, I felt ready. He came upon me in the bathroom, talked some smack, I don't remember. There were a few of his buddies. Perfect. Remember how I said his dad died? I said, okay, daddy issues. Can I call you that? Is not having one really considered a daddy issue? By the way, why are you so fixated on gay sex? Why do you ask so many questions? Do you want to try it? Or was the last thing your dad did to teach you how to suck blank? Admittedly, not the best as I type it out, but mean enough. This got him enraged. All the better. He charged at me through the narrow part of the bathroom. My back was to the wall and he was moving too fast. I got out of the way and he harmlessly flung himself against the wall. Harmlessly for him and me. Well, not for long. He had to shift his weight. I, to his side, had already done so. It was a one-punch knockout to the side of the jaw. This kid had never been in a real fight before. It only took me raising a middle finger at the three friends he brought with him to make them reconsider their dedication to the mission at hand. Next, I kicked him in the face while he was down 4 times. My shoes were smeared with blood. I kicked him in the balls a fair few times after that, spat him to the back of his head, and walked away. I never talked to him again. I never cared how he was doing today, but I'd seen his face, and it certainly wasn't the one he'd been born with. Naturally, word of the fight spread around. I got in some big trouble, suspension, but the motto, "Don't mess with the F word," spread around real quick. As far as I know, nobody ever did. Oh man, you kicked an unconscious dude in the face? That's brutal old me, but I guess this is nuclear revenge. Our next Reddit post is from PDAS. So I like to drink with my old man. He has 3 daughters and 1 son. He told his story to me and my little sister. She's only 1 year younger. My oldest sister lived with her mom and stepfather full time. One day, when she was 12, she called my dad in tears and told him about how she was molested by her stepdad. She just wanted to tell someone who would believe her because her mother at the time didn't. My dad was about to get his stuff to beat her stepdad's butt, but my sister told him that she didn't want him to do anything since she didn't want him in jail. So my dad quickly contacted some old friends in gangs and told them everything. He was furious. My oldest sister's stepdad was beaten so bad he barely recovered. Her stepdad and mom separated not long after. My dad made sure to call his work and tell them everything. Got him fired. My dad made sure to know everything about this man so he could ruin his life as much as possible. When the stepmother got to a new city and my dad got word of it, he made sure he got another extra beating or two. This went on for years on end. My dad was told a few years ago that the abuser sits in a wheelchair now and he can barely do anything by himself. My dad's still not satisfied. If it were up to him, he would be dead. No one hurts his children. Man, the subreddit makes me feel weird because here I am getting excited and smiling about a story where someone gets beaten within an inch of their life. Our next Reddit post is from Dark 1859. Backstory. This part of the story takes place shortly before 2000. In my state, we have numerous retiree communities that are run by HOAs. The vast majority of them, in my experience as a respite rehabilitation provider, can be summarized simply as near to full-on tyrannical in their inter-community politics, often targeting members out of their clan, while heavily favoring those who fell in line. In this case, it all started with Richard and the new HOA. From what details I can remember, Richard had lived in his house in the community under the prior HOA board and lived in his house for close to 2 years. Prior, a community mailbox was installed near his driveway, and the borders of his house lined with road edges. These two details will be important later. However, around early 2000, a new HOA governing board was elected. By this time, many others had moved to the area and began parking in front of the aforementioned mailbox, a number of which, to my memory, were board members. Richard had, at first, tried talking to the offending mailbox blockers that would block his driveway. Eventually, however, he would resort to simply parking his car in front of the driveway and, by extension, the mailboxes. In retaliation, the board would tow his car and invoice Richard for it. In addition to this, Richard was not the type to constantly clean and prune his edges around his house or keep the lawn well kept. The HOA, as a result, began to send landscapers to trim them more and would naturally invoice him every time they did for the bill. Richard, both verbally and in writing, in rather rude terms requested they not send them and denied the landscapers access to his house, but he was still invoiced for their contract. Eventually, as I remember, the board would send the landscapers to his home when he was away or not home, and then invoice him the cost after. Finally having enough, to my mind, Richard ended up killing off his lawn and hedges to force the board to stop sending landscapers. But due to laws in my state and the board's bylaws itself, they were able to sue for the cost of the invoices sent out over the course of nearly a year or so, and managed to foreclose on Richard's house for unpaid fees, where he was forced to move out and chose to move to California for a time. The revenge. With the events leading up to the nuclear revenge set in place, now we can discuss Richard's revenge. Richard, to my memory, had been practically living out of a trailer for a little while, stewing over his threatened opinions of the former board. Richard had still owned a storage unit in Arizona, which contained his rifle and 2 semi-automatic handguns. That April, he returned to Arizona with one goal in mind: revenge. Richard's former HOA held official meetings by noon, with other smaller meetings for emergencies going on to convene. Richard entered the board's meeting with his weapons firing and killing 2 board members outright, wounding one more and wounding another during a scuffle with another man trying to wrestle his rifle away from him. When later questioned why he committed the crime, his only response was, "I was getting even." Later, Richard was sentenced to death for the murders, passing of natural causes while still on death row. In the end, as I recall, the HOA was disbanded for some time following the wake of the murders. They have at this point re-established, but from what I recall, they've been quite careful who they elect to the board. So OP posts some links to some news articles, and sure enough, it's completely legit. It turns out he shot one lady in the back and another in the head. Normally I like to crack jokes and even glorify the people in these stories, but not this time. I'll definitely agree that the board kind of screwed this guy over, but my god, this is a completely disproportionate response. This isn't revenge. This is straight up premeditated murder. Our next Reddit post is from Alice Black. This is a long one, but if you stick with it until the end, you'll learn how I was framed and fired from my job, and accidentally set off a chain reaction that led to a staff overhaul with several managers being fired and moved to other restaurants. The general manager being fired and getting a divorce, and one of the managers being investigated by the FBI and ultimately arrested, as well as several of the workers being deported. I used to work in an upscale restaurant owned by a large corporate entity that owns several different restaurant brands. I worked there for about 3.5 years before they eventually fired me, but more about that later. First, I want to give you an idea of my role there. My role at that job was a little of everything. Since the day I started working there, I took it upon myself to learn as much as possible. I was very persistent with management when I wanted to learn a new department. I started as a server, but eventually had worked my way to different departments and job titles like carryout, hosting, bartending, barbacking, banquets, catering, and deliveries. My singular goal while working there was to make myself available for as many hours as possible. I was being paid about $12 an hour, though that fluctuated if I was working as a bartender or server and making tips. Eventually, it was noticed by management how I fit best into one of the non-tech positions. I was so good at it that they decided to try me out as an unofficial supervisor over the team that worked to carry out catering and deliveries, as those were all one department. I knew this was going to ultimately mean a few less hours, since I would only be working one department, so I negotiated with management to increase my pay by about $1.50. Since I was taking on additional responsibilities, they were satisfied with the pay increase. I was trying to get as much money as possible. I just wanted to be able to pay my bills and still have a little money left over for fun. I was living in the highly taxed city of Chicago, which is in the already highly taxed state of Illinois, so it was pretty difficult to make ends meet and still have money left to enjoy my life. I'm a person of simple pleasures, and I can enjoy things for long periods of time, so it didn't take much money to be happy. A video game could hold my attention for several months, sometimes even years. I had a family pet that I brought with me to Chicago, so that counted as an extra expense. Not long after I started this position as the unofficial supervisor, I got a girlfriend, so I was also going out more often and spending money on her. With my position and some smart budgeting, I was able to afford all of this. The money wasn't an issue, but management had a high turnover rate, so the incoming managers often didn't know what the department entailed or how important hours were to workers in these departments. Eventually, it was noted that our current general manager was going to be fired and replaced. The incoming general manager was supposed to be some rock star when it came to improving restaurants. We looked up his name and found him as the first search result on Google. But the entry wasn't some glowing review of his work ethic or of his impeccable ability to improve the way a restaurant runs. It was actually a mugshot and a police report filed for repeated domestic abuse. This is important. We'll call him Harvey. Shortly after Harvey came in and started making changes, one of our best managers gave her resignation. She refused to work with him, and like an effing oracle, told us to expect lots of sexual harassment, misogynistic comments, and planned to eventually run this place into the ground. Not long after she left, our general manager began replacing our current managers with handpicked people that he had worked with in the past. Eventually, all but one manager was replaced. That manager was the kitchen manager. We'll call him Frito. Frito had been there since I started working there. He seemed to be somewhat of a chameleon, as in his values and ethics seemed to change depending on who his boss was. Honestly, I sort of applaud his survival instincts, but ultimately see him as a suck-up and traitor. Harvey never really replaced the manager from our department, so we worked without a lot of oversight. Unless you count me as a supervisor, we did constantly have someone beating down our necks about how things should be. Our department had some hiccups here and there, but it still ran really smoothly. Since we didn't have our own manager, we often had to wait for our manager to come help us out with things being a manager project. Frito would always be the one to issue this help since the kitchen was closest to our department. Over time, the new team of managers started to see Frito as the manager of other departments as well. However, the hourly team that worked there still saw me as their supervisor. This meant that anytime Frito was trying to make changes that would ultimately hurt us, the team relied on me to mitigate those disasters, but negotiate with Frito to let us do our jobs the way we had already proved worked really well. Over several months, Frito and I would butt heads dozens of times. He and I were constantly arguing about how
When I took the melatonin for those couple months I was using
we
it,
had in his head that we should be living off tips
it
like
really did
servers.
help
But
me.
since most of our
But
orders
the thing is,
through Grubhub,
with the
Grubhub doesn't
melatonin,
tip. We didn't have a lot of deliveries in a day.
is
The tip we got from those
you have to be kind of
$10
disciplined about it. Is
but
that
splitting $10
if
four ways
you
doesn't add up to a lot. It just showed that Frito had no clue what he was
when you
talking
take
about.
it
Eventually, we had a meeting with Harvey
and
and
you
Frito
start to
and all
feel
the
drowsy,
workers in the
you don't stay
It was
watching
marketed as a chance to voice all of
You
our
don't stay on a
grievances
chair and be like, I'll go to bed in a little while. You go to bed when you're feeling drowsy. You don't miss
workers
the
did
week.
exactly that. They talked about how
You
Frito
don't
was
feel
trying
like,
to cut
oh,
hours.
I'll read another chapter.
When it was
You know,
brought up that they were
just
attempting
go
to
to bed.
hire someone to be the manager, the
And
team
what we
suggested
had
that I take over
was
since
that
I've already been supervising them and running things smoothly for the past 7 months. I was also the one that managed the consultant with the writing schedules, as I had an understanding of the days some workers could and couldn't work, depending on their school schedules and everything. I could see at the moment it was suggested that Harvey and Frito made the decision on the spot that I had to be done. Although they didn't say it, I could see the look they gave each other and instinctively knew that my days in this place were numbered. And my job was going to be getting the axe one way or another. They made a bunch of promises to us about not cutting hours. They told us that they would stop sending all but one person home early and only leaving one person to clean everything and close up by themselves. As this wasn't a small department, and it was simply too much for one person to do alone while still meeting health and safety standards. They promised that whatever hours we scheduled for, we would work. We weren't trying to be unreasonable, so we told them that we only have 3 open people scheduled to work departments. They could cut 2 of them early, but we always needed at least 2 people here to help close properly. The promise was made that we would always have at least 2 closers. However, only about a week later, they started sending all but one person home early again every night. One night, they tried to do it while I was scheduled as the closer, and we had just returned from a massive catering event, and there was an unbelievable amount of cleanup left to do for one person. When Frito came in and tried to send everyone except me home, I stepped up and told him that he was consistently breaking the promise he had made to us during the meeting. He looked me square in the face and told me to stop complaining about it. And if I was going to keep trying to talk to him about him breaking his promises, he could easily find someone who could work my shifts. I quickly realized that this was an assassination attempt on my job. He wanted me to press it on, so I backed off and started. I ended up having to stay way hours. That meant overtime pay. I got a write up for that, since we weren't allowed to work overtime without a manager. When I refused to sign the write up, pointing out that I had tried to explain to Frito that I wouldn't be able to clean up all that stuff alone before my scheduled shift ended, I was allowed to leave without signing the write up. But because the HR rep that was present at the time wasn't one of Harvey's employees, skip ahead to the day I was fired. It's important to note at this point that I always came into work an hour early. Since we lived in Chicago, food was expensive. However, at our job, we were allowed to have as much free super bread as we liked. So I would come into work 1 hour early every day so I could have some super bread for lunch before my shift. But on this day, when I walked to the kitchen to get myself some soup, one of the line cooks told me that he had a dish that had been canceled after he cooked it, and Frito had told me to give it to someone. He assured me that Frito had comped it, and that it was free to take for whoever wanted it. It just so happened to be my favorite appetizer, so I happily took the free food. Not long after I got to my booth, both Harvey and Frito approached me and asked me if I had put in a ticket for that food. I told them that the line cook had given it to me and said it was the canceled order that Frito had already comped. Frito looked dumbfounded and said he had no idea what I was talking about. So Harvey told me, I think you know that's theft. Go ahead and finish the food and then grab your stuff and go. That's the last meal you'll be having here. I tried to explain to them that I had been given this food by the line cook, but they refused to listen. So I offered to take them to the kitchen to clear it up with the cook. But by the time I'd gone back to the kitchen with them to talk to the line cook, he had already gone home for the day. I had no choice but to gather my stuff, say my goodbyes, and head. On my way out, I told the people working my department that afternoon what had happened, exactly as it happened. They were shocked and angry, but mostly sad to see me go. I decided that on my way out, I would stop by the accounting office and pick up any tips that may have been dropped for me that week, just to make sure I didn't get screwed out of that money. Before heading down, I had this gut feeling to just set my phone to record, and I stuffed it into my pocket with the camera rolling. Although the video was entirely black since it was in my pocket, I did manage to get a pretty muffled recording of Harvey and Frito's voices through the door, discussing how things had gone as planned, and that they had been trying to get rid of me ever since that meeting with my department. I knocked on the door, and they hushed up before opening it. They asked what I was still doing there, and I asked for my tips. They gathered what was in the safe for me and handed it over. Despite my anger rising at what I just heard, I decided not to burn this bridge just yet, because perhaps I could effing nuke it later. I offered a handshake
Oh
to
my
my manager,
gosh.
thanking her for the opportunity to work there,
No way.
making sure to pull my phone out of my pocket and record the front of the restaurant with the sign showing its name and logo. Working in a restaurant, you learn to always cover your own butt. It's true for most jobs, but something was just telling me I would need this all year. If I was being accused of theft, I wouldn't be able to prove it wasn't true if it ever came up in future job interviews. Which is exactly what happened and where this all started going nuclear. On the train ride home, I sent some messages and made some posts on some local Facebook groups saying that I had just been fired and that I was looking for a job as quickly as possible. By the time I got off at my stop, I had already set up an interview for later that day. I was offered the job about 5 minutes into the interview, but after going over the details, it didn't sound like it was for me, so I turned it down. I interviewed a few other places and found one that was a good fit with a hefty pay increase compared to my previous job. And I wouldn't have to deal with customers. It was an auditing job for a logistics company. However, during the interview with the manager of this job, he mentioned he had already called my previous place of employment and spoken with the general manager, Harvey. Harvey had told him that I had been fired for theft. Luckily for me, the manager I was interviewing with asked me to tell him more about that, and he was willing to let me pull out my phone and find it. I asked if the voice in the video was the same person he'd spoke with on the phone. It was. That was confirmation enough for him that I hadn't made a fake video. He listened to the two managers in the video and admit that they had set me up and watched to the end when I showed their front.
Wants to play Dead by Daylight.
With the logo and
I just want to play Minecraft.
Okay. Do you remember what you said to me yesterday?
Hold on.
About 7 months later, after settling into this job quite nicely, HR sent out a welcome all of our new team members email, which listed all of our newest hires, some facts about them, and had pictures of them all. They sent these out every time they hired a new round of people. One of them, Thomas, was a former coworker who worked with me at the restaurant.
Tanner.
We worked at the host stand together, so I was pretty glad to
Are
see
you listening to
someone I
something?
knew and liked coming onto the team. I sat
What?
at his desk
Are you
and
listening to
said,
something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you remember? Well, that's not what I was gonna ask.
Okay, I can still hear you now.
Okay. Do you remember what you said to me yesterday?
No.
Check your text.
The corporate entity that owned the
Hold
restaurant
on.
chain had received an email with an attached video. My video that had been filmed from inside my pocket. That was cause enough for corporate to send
Don't look at my
someone to
password.
investigate internally. Thomas was pretty surprised that I hadn't heard anything.
You're gonna
about
change
it
it now,
since
aren't
there
you?
had been
Did you
no
see it fully?
No.
As soon
Then
as
I'm
he said
fine.
that, I logged into the old email I used when I first applied for the job at the restaurant. I had
Oh.
2 dozen emails asking me to come into
Do you
discuss
remember?
my
Did you
employment.
actually just mix up reality with the dream?
What did I say exactly?
You got out of bed, right? I went to go check on Matthew because I heard him talking. I come back and you're standing on my bed. Like you had actually gotten out of bed and you're kind of like standing next to the ladder. You're like, like I couldn't understand you at first, probably because I was tired. And I'm like, what? And you're like, there's no villain icon. I'm like, Tanner, you're messing up reality with a dream. Go back to bed. And you're like, no, I know what I'm trying to say. It's just not coming out right. Tanner, you said there's no villain icon. You're like, yeah, I know. I just can't think of the right thing to say. So, I think you're mixing up reality with not reality. By the way, you need to go get shulker boxes, dude. They help.
I know. I literally pretty much just started this world,
Oh,
so
really? It looks very similar to your old world.
yeah.
Because it's like the same exact design.
Yeah.
This tore them apart. They had once been an inseparable people team. the pressure of the investigation must have pushed them over the edge. They ended up at each other's throats on Facebook, on a public post on the company page. The post had since been deleted, but Thomas explained it as follows. Frito had been pictured in the Facebook post on the restaurant page.
Frick.
Harvey made a passive-aggressive comment about how Frito shouldn't even be in the picture since he moved to another restaurant to do this content. Frito saw this comment and said something along the lines of, "At least when people Google my name, I don't show up as the guy that punched his wife." To which Harvey responded, "Very funny from the guy who's cheating on his wife with Janet's sister." Janet's not a real name, but Janet was the girl they appointed to officially supervise my old department after they fired the unofficial supervisor. Frito replies to that by saying, "Like you haven't tried with half the waitresses, but they all have stories about you trying to passionately love them." The post was deleted, but not before it had been seen by Audrey the auditor. That was officially strike 2. Strike 3 came the next day when Audrey started interviewing the female waitstaff and bartenders. Seeing if any of them would be found to the
It was a good haul today. Let's carve out here.
Also, he had offered to be their sugar daddy if they would send nudes or stay at their clothes to fool around with them. Harvey was fine, but that isn't the worst of it. Audrey the auditor wasn't just some random woman from corporate. She was the old regional manager for this area.
I want to make this my enchantment room, so I can make this ceiling a little bit lower.
Everything she learned from the female waitstaff. They learned later that they had gotten a divorce over him trying to cheat on her after she had already given him a second chance to change after he beat her. I don't know what compelled her to give him a second chance after something like that, but she sure didn't give him a flirt. After firing Harvey, the line cook who had given me the news that he was right on. I don't know how it came up, but at some point, he had let it slip that he was an illegal immigrant. She had his file in her hand with an Illinois ID and social security number on the files. This confused her and she pressed him for more information. It turns out that Frito had some connections. It had his own miniature black market going on. He would have fake social security cards and IDs with the illegal immigrants he was hiring and reduced wages. It had been going on for at least 4 years.
I can't tell if this is. Oh, it is symmetrical. Huh. Would you look at that?
Potential PR nightmare that Audrey was likely dealing with, she felt she had no choice but to alert the authorities. Local PD enlisted the help of the FBI since some of the evidence led them beyond the jurisdiction of the police. Frito was arrested and quickly gave up the names of the people working that he had sold social security cards and IDs to. I'm not sure if he gave up all of them, but he did name drop about 14, and of those 14, at least half were deported by the time Thomas had been let go. One of them was the line cook that had given me the food the day I was fired. Thomas went on to explain that it all started with me being fired, but I never sent that reporting to corporate. I'd only sent it to Dean when he hired me. I asked him about it, and he told me that he had sent it to his wife since she was a lawyer. He wanted to see if I had a case to maybe sue my old job since what they had done was wrong. But he also remembered that when we had first talked about it, I'd said that I'm not the type of person who would try to make millions off an entire company because of the mistakes of 2 buttholes. But I had also said that it would be pretty sweet to see them lose their jobs too. So his wife had been the one that sent the video to
If I could just get one more thing, I'll be set. Diamond. If I can just get one more diamond, I'd be really, really good in the position.
That it didn't end until there were sexual harassment accusations. Revelations about managers cheating on their wives with girls related to people they had placed in positions of
Popping my
authority,
knuckles.
a divorce, mass layoffs pending investigations, a staff review,
Um,
an FBI investigation into
I need to
whether
make a
black
sign.
dealings of falsified government-issued documents, and at least a half dozen deportations, and probably as many as 14. I don't know
Oh,
if
wait,
this
hold
counts
on.
as nuclear revenge, as I didn't actively pursue it. But Thomas ended up showing me that even if it wasn't revenge, it was definitely nuclear. And the crater it had left was massive. Yeah, nuclear revenge doesn't exactly apply. I think it's better to call this something like nuclear karma. That was rSlash nuclear revenge, and if you like this video, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day. Welcome to r/pro event, where a teacher gets revenge
Pog.
against his terrible students. The backstory. The year this happened, I taught a high school class with grades 9 to 12. That's 14 to 18-year-olds for you overseas guests.
I do not have a storage system yet, and I know it's driving me crazy too. Oh. Oh. Sneaky boy. Nah, sneaky boy. You getting dead.
My class was built so that it had something to offer everybody. If you tried your best, you were guaranteed
Where are you?
If you worked really hard, you'd get a B or an A. I would bust my butt to help a student with any reasonable request. The best example of this was a student was working hard on an assignment and said, I think I understand it now, but can't turn it in on time. To which I answered, then turn it in tomorrow for full credit. This is how hard work pays off. Other than a few hard deadlines in my class, I would do whatever it took to see you learn the material. Screw around in my class. I've already found ways to run circles around the pathetic excuses you throw at your parents for your piss poor performance. It sounds callous, but I was the teacher who would stay for 90 minutes after school to help you catch up, to help fix your project for another class, or even to listen to you cry about your parents' divorce. If I caught you goofing in class instead of doing your work, my rule was that at least 70% of class time was intended for homework, quizzes, etc. I would warn you a couple times, email your parents, and then wait and see if they even gave you a lip. If they didn't, I would let you keep digging that hole until you were hip deep in water and begging for a ladder. And then I would toss you a rope instead. You could still climb it if you tried hard enough, but a lot of kids would just cry until that hole caved in and buried them. I also utilized my school's online grading and assignment system for nearly all of my assignments, which meant I could document when a student looked at the assignment, how long it took them, etc. All of this allowed me to see what my students were doing, when they did it, and also if they were plagiarizing. This was also one of the tools that helped me make important decisions about leniency and also helped me to say things at conferences such as, of course the test was hard. Your child didn't attempt the 9 homework assignments until 11 p.m. the night before the test. Being able to prove that a student wasn't trying made it impossible for blame to be laid unfairly at my feet. It also meant the worst kids avoided my class. Bonus. However, this year, something magical happened. Every other year, I would get away with kids who just wanted to screw around and blame everyone else for doing it. At the end of the year, students would trash talk me, my class sizes would drop the following year, then I would receive high praise from those kids, so everyone would say, so on and so on. But this year, not only did I get a giant wave of knuckleheads, but they came with parents who loved to make trouble. I had already heard tales of some of these parents. Other teachers were just dying to hear stories about our interactions because these parents were very much entitled. They would name drop lawyers when they didn't get their way, try to badger teachers into giving their kids extra credit, and would largely deny any wrongdoing on their kids' part. These were the parents who would get called in because their student was busted cheating. Then accuse the teacher of making the class too hard, therefore validating their students' need to cheat. So, about these knuckleheads. It was a group of roughly 7 senior boys who all shifted their schedules to be in the same period with each other. The other teachers couldn't believe I had all of them at the same time, but I just shrugged it off. Every week, the staff lounge was dying to know how I dealt with their shenanigans. But for the most part, I had shut down most of their garbage from day one. I actually got along very well with them, despite their constant movement, because they had mastered the ability to appear busy and distract my other kids. Then came the first group project. My class size was just right for 7 groups of 44. The idiot collective formed 2 groups of 4, by pulling in a kid who had been absent on the first day of the project. These 2 groups crashed and burned on this project super hard for several reasons. But the biggest were that A, they screwed around during class time, and B, put off a 2-week assignment until the weekend before, and then dumped all the work on everybody, and resulted in everybody doing minimal effort. I handed out the terrible grades and was immediately pulled into parent conferences for second one at a time, obviously. Every meeting was the same. My kid did all the work, so he doesn't deserve a bad grade. Or, my kid didn't understand the assignment, to which I handed over my hyper-specific rubric, which is a checklist for how I grade things. I never wanted to be accused of grading based on not liking these largely went like this. My kid did all the work, and I don't think it's fair it should hurt his grade.
I mean, if you don't got anyone at risk at your home.
I handed over. Here's my rubric, which I printed and emailed to the student the day the project started. I hand that over. As you can see, I have itemized the grading for ease of use. I would be happy to go over the grade your student. Where are the missing parts? And the student said, my group members were responsible for that. I can't grade what I never received, so I can't reasonably just grade your kid's grade. Sorry. Now, good news for all my students. I make assignments worth more throughout the semester with the kids who screw up early on later by working hard. I see each credit throughout the semester and all these grades are described, but happy to hear that they're entitled embryo and an A in my class.
Common misconception: sugarcane does not grow faster on sand. It grows just as much.
I had all this data to prove that I made every effort to contact everybody, etc. So it must be the other kid's fault. So these parents all decide that their perfect angel is no longer allowed to work with their previous groupmates. Like a cancer, this failure of friends distributes around the rest of the class. Like the genius that I am, I made my students write a group contract for every project that details who does what and when it's due. Why is this important? Because the contract provides me with documentation necessary to allow me to dismiss a bad paper and get them a zero without the parents dumping all over me. So here's where the problem begins manifesting. These seniors begin bouncing
Discount and then a discount on anything else that they ordered for the year and they never ordered again.
I let students choose their groups, so these seniors are desperately integrating with anybody that will help. Because of my class size,
Now where to put my nether portal? Maybe I'll get some advice with my brother. Hey Tristan! Can you give me some advice? I don't know where to put my nether portal. Not the... Alright, let's just put it here for now. Hold on, I need 4 blocks. Oh, just do some gravel.
I've had students produce all work the morning of a parent meeting to try and lie their way out and make me look like a piece of garbage. But that timestamp is a godsend. Luckily, my class is balanced. A sucky groupmate can make things hard, but not undoable, and parents are appeased that I have an kid, but disappointed that their kid doesn't. Every time I announce that the project is on the way, some of these seniors sucker up to the other kids to the point that it's expected that a spot will be made for them. I'm talking buying kids lunch, bringing them gifts, etc. Seriously, the day before group project starts, all the seniors now sit at separate tables
Boom.
so they can pull the "I'm already here, let's be in a group" card, which works most of the time. The strain on class morale is difficult, but I'm biding my time. The other students are grabbing an extra credit opportunities constantly so that their grade can absorb the blow. And parents' complaints are completely mitigated because I'm still offering every chance for success. My principal has a copy of my civil dismissal. Policies that the parents sign off. It's not uncommon for him to hear.
But those folders have remained empty for the past year.
But he reminds them that the clause above the signature line says, "My signature denotes that I have read this document in its entirety and agree to abide by all the rules."
Wait.
Or something similar.
Wait, hold on. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The 7. So I have 7 slothful seniors.
Alright, Pog, guys, Pog. You don't even know. You don't even know.
These 3 are the ones whose parents have a boner for making trouble. Every time they bully a teacher into compliance, imagine they sit around the smoke room with cigars and cognac, laughing at how they got their way yet again.
Let's just,
And I refuse to be
This is the one block that I end every episode on.
However, a special note about Larry. Since he turned 18, his parents now travel non-stop and are impossible to reach. Larry is just a huge douche because his parents no longer care about what he does. I closely monitor their grades in my class.
It's not a very big pen.
This may sound
Pen,
sketchy,
pen.
but I
I'm
routinely
texting.
do this with any of my students who struggle
But
with details.
what can you do?
Identify if the issue is my class or all of their classes. Students have been known to fake their grades using Inspect Element, and I got tired of hearing, but they have A's in their other classes, because then I look like a piece of garbage. Anyway, after a check, I speak with the other teachers. It isn't hard to find out that these boys are doing minimal work in other classes, and I actually discovered that Larry has been finding ways to get other kids to do work for him, and then disseminating it among his friends. Other teachers have been bullied into lowering test percentages in the class.
You're lucky, little cowboy. I would have murdered you and eat you for lunch.
Despite bombing
Come
these
this way.
tests, homework and project grades give them a comfortable cushion so that most of them are floating at low Bs. I can't prove this, they're using Snapchat, but when I bring it up with the teachers don't feel like trying to prove it and duke it out with the parents. Now, they're gaining other classes for minimal effort. However, their only recourse in my class is to keep rotating through groups and leeching off of their hard work to maintain C's and B's. And the other kids are too nervous to utilize the group contract to get them fired. Remember how I mentioned that I steadily increased the value of my assignments
And be
to
like,
get kids
hey,
working
I
and
can't,
give them a chance
you
to
know,
fix their
your husband
grades?
delivers
On a random
to
day
our
in class, I
place
said,
of business,
"Hey everybody, I was
Larry
looking at
went
the
in the other
schedule and
day and
realized that
there
your
was
last project
nothing
before
been
finals
delivered.
may stress you out unnecessarily.
Can you
Would
just pass
anybody
along
mind
to
if I
him
dropped
that
it?" My
Larry is
class.
going to be stopping
Nope,
in today?
drop
and
it.
that if there's
Best
still
teacher
something else,
ever.
Hmm.
Okay, well, just so you know, I'm going to move our next project back a couple of weeks and extend the deadline by a week. Also, since I canceled the last project, this means that the next project will now be worth roughly 20% of your final grade. So do your best. Screwing this up could kill your grade. My class is like, whatever, Dr. So, in one step, I have inflated this assignment and also moved it. I send out an email to parents and students letting them know about the change in the syllabus and the assignment. Get no responses other than happiness that I'm removing stress from the end of the semester, etc. I actually did this primarily because another teacher, who was a huge douchebag, plunked down a monster project that same week. I knew it would burn out my students prior to finals, so I figured a break was in order. Win-win for me, really. Now, why did I move it? Maniacallaughter.mp4. The Friday before the project started, I announced at the start of the class, "Okay, I'm introducing the project now so you can get into groups today and you can do it first thing Monday morning without delay, since this project is so important." This announcement elicits a room full of eating grins. Why? It was senior ditch day. Our school didn't condone a ditch day, so the kids tried their best to keep it a secret, but I found out a month in advance. All 7 of these kids were absent from class, which meant that I had just given the entire room freedom from these dead weights. Immediately, groups are formed. And even better, I had a couple of kids transfer out of my class that semester, which meant, numbers-wise, these knuckleheads will have to work on this last group project together, in 2 groups. I emphasized that everyone needed to get to class as soon as possible so that they could start as soon as attendance was called. My original intention was to light a giant fire under all 7 of these chums to get them to actually put in the effort they had neglected to do all year. Most of them had grades in the low C range, except for one in the low Bs. As a bonus to all my students, I put an extra credit portion on this project so that they could recoup their early semester losses, but also allow these seniors to do very well if they put in the effort. This wasn't meant to be a revenge tale, but an attempt to give them one last lesson in responsibility. Before the end of the day, I sent out a parent and student notification that the project had been started and that any absent students needed to contact their classmates to establish groups before Monday morning. This was important, as you'll see. I'm sure you can guess what happened next. The immediate fallout. The next Monday, the seniors came traipsing in seconds before the bell to discover that there are only 2 tables to sit at. Whatever, they take their seats. After attendance, I say, "Okay, everybody has a copy of the rubric, so go ahead and get started." The rest of the class immediately pulls out the rubric. The seniors look around frantically. The seniors quickly realize that they've been played, and the arguing starts. The first thing that happens is that Larry, Curly, and Mo decide that they now belong with whoever they happen to be sitting with, and scoot their chairs over to sit with different tables. I catch this right away and tell them that the groups are already at maximum size, 4 people per group. The other 4 seniors are already fighting with each other because they know that none of them will actually do any work. Larry, who thinks he's God's gift to everybody, tries to sweet talk me and his group and his special privileges and allowing a group of 5. Now, I see some of the other kids wavering, and I know that Larry is putting pressure on them to argue his case. I designed this project for specifically 4 people and had a job for each one, but I extended a separate offer. I said, I'll let you join, but since there will be 5 of you, I expect double the work. Literally, I told them that they would have to do the project twice. Larry tries to argue, but I point out the rules I've established and inform him that if 4 people could do it once, having 5 should make it easier to do it twice. Sounds like a dick move on my part, but I've now intimidated the other kids into saying hell no, and even have them put it to a vote. Unsurprisingly, Larry is the only one who votes that this is a good idea. And when the other kids catch wind of my offer, they physically shoo off the other seniors trying to pull this deal as well. You'll all be delighted to hear that the rest of the period for my seniors is spent arguing over who will work with who. They end up forming 3 groups, and I nod my head, make sure they have a rubric, and then wish them the best of luck. Being the smart teacher that I am, I email Curly's parents and Mo's mommy that they've chosen to work with each other. Mo's mommy shows up to argue with me all the time, but she's quickly learned that I won't take her flat. At a previous meeting, she even laid into Mo and told him, I'm tired of fighting all these battles with your teachers, and I'm starting to think that you're the problem. But I suspect that this is for show. Curly's parents email me back and say they'll make sure Curly writes a group contract. You see, Curly has sold himself as the best student ever, and clearly he'll do the work and fire his classmates. Mo's mommy immediately requests a meeting with me. Per school policy, I don't have to respond to an email for 48 hours. I wait until hour 47 and email a non-committal. I would love to meet. When are you available? And wait for a response. I then wait another 48 hours to inform her of the time the following week that works for me. Now, some of the other senior parents have emailed me angrily demanding why I let their kids choose to work with the bad kids again. I had to inform them that I didn't expect all of them to be absent. Immediately, some of my seniors get burned at home because they ditched, and their parents tell me, just try to help them pass, which I agree to. Some of them need this class for graduation after all. Mo's mommy, on the other hand, shows up ready to wage war. She starts by demanding that I put Mo in a different group. I decline because the project has now been going on for a week and it wouldn't be fair. She demands that I add him to another group. They're all full and students have already done the lion's share of the work. She demands that I let him work by himself with an extension. I gladly offer him an extension and slide a copy of the rubric over to him, and he goes white. At this point, he knows that he's never planning to do any of the work. In fact, I know that his group hasn't even started. I have a copy of their group contract, which was hastily scribbled in pencil with no due dates on it. He starts arguing with his mom that he would rather work with his friends and that he's upset that he got stuck in the situation. Contemplating this, she accuses me of deliberately waiting until that day to screw the seniors over. After all, it was a school-sanctioned event, and I'm being a douchebag about it, and she'll go to the board with her story. Wrong. The joy I get from all of my prep work is shutting down BS like this. All 7 of the seniors hung out on ditch day at her house and told her that the principal had given them the day off. Even better, they called in and pretended to be their own parents so that it wasn't an excused absence. He's immediately busted, and his mom flips her switch and jumps all over him. You see, she can keep pressing me on this issue, but I now have evidence that he pretended to be his own dad, and this is a suspendable offense. I buy myself into her races by telling her that I had no idea that senior ditch day was that Friday. But I gave her kid a free extension on the homework that was due because I thought seniors deserve their own traditions, blah blah blah. She buys it. Also, I can prove that I emailed him and her and gave them plenty of notice before Monday morning that they needed to pick groups before something like this happened. Obviously, once I found out about ditch day, I tried to give her precious treasure a heads up, but I don't know why he didn't take it. She makes him open his email. My email is sitting there, unopened, and I've won this battle. She thanks me and takes him home. Class morale is super high, unless you're one of those seniors. A week before the project is due, neither group has actually started, and the HMS class average is about to hit an iceberg. The project comes due. It comes as no surprise that my enterprising seniors have turned in easily some of the worst work ever. One group got into a text argument the weekend before it was due and made one of the kids do all the work. Mo and Curly are in this group. The other group, with Larry, has also turned into a steaming pile. I made sure to grade these two projects first because I know the fallout is going to be big. All the seniors dropped at least one letter grade. A couple dropped two. This is 4 weeks before graduation. Larry appears to take his F- in stride. They got something like a 10% on it. So I know he's plotting something. Curly's parents demand a meeting, and so does Mo's mommy. Curly's parents are super upset that they got a bad grade and demanded to know why. What they didn't know was that I had already met with the student who did the entire project, Corley and his parents. I informed Curly's parents that I had seen the text exchange between the seniors that pretty much ended up with, "You effing do it." Curly refused to turn over his phone to his parents for confirmation. I also showed them Curly's project and hand over the ruler. Mom and Dad are not happy. You see, Curly has been blaming everyone else for his mistakes since the dawn of time, and his parents have bought in completely. Until today. Dad pointedly asks, "Which part did you do?" And this causes Curly to spout actual tears. I then pull up a spreadsheet of all the group project scores from the year, with no student data, and have highlighted his scores, which are among the worst. The purpose of this was to use data to prove that their son, frankly, never does the work. Curly is absolutely destroyed by this. His parents kick him out of the conference because they're tired of his excuses and ask me what they can do. I tell them that I would be happy to offer one-on-one tutoring and that he can still pass the class if he does his homework and gets a B on the next exam. They agree to this. We all shake hands and they leave. Curly's story largely ends here. He never shows up to tutoring, and I email his parents. After 3 emails, his dad finally responds with, "His mom and I have decided that he needs to learn to be an adult and are leaving him to his own devices. Thank you for your efforts." Curly will spend the rest of the semester doing little to no work. Because he's grounded at home, he's now just watching YouTube videos on his phone during school. It'd be really funny if he watches this video. The ripple effect is glorious because now Curly is doing this in all of his classes. I speak with his teachers, and they all email his parents that he has quit doing work in class, and they get the same reply I did, the vehement responses they're used to. When Curly fails his classes, he still graduates, but his parents have informed him that they are no longer paying for his college, and it's time to get a job. Mo's mommy flips her and demands answers. Unfortunately, Mo's in the same group as Curly, and she gets the same answers from me. Strangely enough, once she's exhausted every effort and attempt to somehow blame me for this, she admits that she knew Mo was part of bullying the lone senior and that he should be ashamed of himself. She deliberately tried to blame me, but outed herself when she knew that I already knew everything. Super annoying, but I agree to help tutor him one-on-one, which makes her happy. The long-term fallouts. Mo's mommy is emailing me every few days now. "Is my son doing his work? Did he get help with his homework? Etc." Non-stop, but she knows better than to fight with me. Larry is unusually chipper and is no longer doing his work. I found out that Larry is supposedly going to a college where he just needs to maintain his GPA over a super low number. He claims an F in my class won't change anything, so I make sure he doesn't distract the others. Mo shows up only occasionally, but strangely enough, Larry pops in just to say hi whenever Mo is getting home. I can't fathom why he does this, but suspect he's up to something and already have a backup plan in place. You see, Mo's mommy is nuts, and I make sure that there's always another person in the room with me when I tutor him. Anyway, Mo's mommy is constantly checking in. I start waiting 48 hours between emails, cause I can, and she starts dropping by in person unannounced to check on him, meaning me. She's been acting cagey lately, and I'm starting to suspect something. It's effing Larry. Larry is a friend of Mo's, so he's been in her home feeding her made-up stories to convince her that I've been emotionally abusing Mo when other students aren't around. Stuff like I was calling him an R-word after school, etc., and then telling her, "You can even have the school check the cameras to see that I'm there." This starts a whole thing where she's now demanding answers from admin. But OP is smart. Administration asked me about details regarding my interaction with Mo, and I end up sitting down with my principal, Mo, and Mo's mom. She details that Mo is struggling, might not graduate, and that she believes that I have singled her kid out for abuse and wants his grade raised. You see, Mo is dumb and lazy, and his mom is just as bad. When Larry went to her with this story, she never bothered talking about it with her own son. He just agreed and went along with it. So I asked Mo point blank to please describe what has been said during our sessions, and then offered to leave the room so that he can tell the principal without me there. She tells me to stay because she wants me to hear from her son what I've done to him. What neither of them know was that I was a mentor teacher. That meant I had a first year teacher as my mentee. Not a student teacher, but a new hire that works with a veteran teacher to learn the ropes of our school. And I had her working on grades and such in my room after school. We need so many contract hours. On the days that I agreed to meet Mo. She was young, so Mo thought she was another student and never questioned it, and couldn't even remember that she was in there. My principal already had statements from her detailing my interactions with Mo, and Mo was unable to give any actual details and suddenly forgot what had been said to him. This lands Mo's mommy in hot water with admin, and she blames the whole thing on Larry and becomes visibly upset that she fell for such a stupid ruse. This results in an email cautioning teachers from being alone in a room with either student. Suddenly, after school help evaporates for both, but hey, I always have someone in my room, so whatever. After that meeting, Larry is now suddenly super concerned about his grade. I rationalized that he was hoping to burn me out of my job and use the fallout to get a passing grade. Obviously, it doesn't work, so Larry. I have kids who actually want to succeed. My free days are now on days I know he works and he never shows up for tutoring anyway. Now that other teachers are hesitant to meet with him, he's unable to cut deals to raise those grades either. Seriously, teachers fell for this change of heart spiel every semester. Mo's mom makes a last-ditch effort and tries to convince me that the parents of the seniors have scheduled a meeting with my boss to have me fired for giving their kids a bad grade, and that she would be willing to put in a good word for me if I meet with her first. I'm sitting next to the principal when I get this email, and he has no idea what she's talking about. I tell her I'd be happy to meet everybody, but that I would probably eat my lunch during such a meeting, and that I hope people didn't mind the smell of fish. I get a, no, seriously, they're threatening to sue you. But feigned stupidity and informed her that I couldn't be sued for eating fish during during a meeting. She now realizes I give zero F's about anything and can't be threatened. Again, there's nothing she can do because I'm simply following policy. The last few weeks are frantic for these seniors. One by one they fall because they've done little to no work for a couple years now and they have no idea how to apply themselves. Other teachers are emboldened by how hard I shut them down and finally hold them accountable.
Well, I think this is where this episode will end, because I need to get another diamond for the enchantment table. I just kind of have to wait a little bit and do some extra work. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day. You don't have to subscribe, just, watching this video is enough for me. If you really want to show support, just comment down in the comment section below and just say that you like the video. Thank you for watching, and see you later.
All of them have breakdowns in my class and leave crying. Their